What's going on, car family? I'm Ben Wayne, back with another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the 2016 AMG GT S Coupe. It's shown here in selenite gray. This is the second supercar that's been completely designed in-house by AMG, following the magnificent SLS. Let's talk a little bit about the space frame of the AMG GT Coupe. 97% of it is composed of aluminum that's been casted, extruded, and stamped. The remaining 3% go to advanced polymers, a magnesium core to support the radiator, which is important because this magnesium core sits in front of the front axle to reduce inertia, and you also have a steel trunk lid. The headlight cluster of the Mercedes-Benz AMG GT consists of full multi-beam LEDs. Now, LEDs approximate daylight more closely than the traditional bi-xenon headlamp would. Now, the AMG GT is available with up to 6 different wheel options. This car has the optional 10-spoke forged alloy wheels. Let's talk a little bit about the wheel and brake setup. In the front, you have 9.5 by 19-inch wheels with a 15.4-inch brake rotor with a 6-piston caliper. In the rear, your wheels are 11 by 20 inches with a 14.2-inch rotor and 4-piston fixed calipers. Now, this car is optioned with the carbon ceramic brake rotors. That's an additional $9,000 option. The optional carbon ceramic brakes on this car have less brake fade on the track, and they're up to 40% lighter than the traditional brake. The AMG GT features an AMG dynamic performance exhaust. This allows the driver to escalate the sound of the exhaust note just by a push of a button in the cockpit that controls computerized vanes in the exhaust system. Under the hood, you're going to find a 4-liter bi-turbo V8 producing 503 horsepower at 6,250 RPM and 479 pound-feet of torque at a very low 1,750 RPM. Mercedes-Benz calls this layout the hot inside V configuration because the 2 turbos sit in between the V, so in between the cylinder banks of the engine. Now, the 2 turbos send a compressed charge via an extremely short path, resulting in nearly 0 pressure loss. These turbos can spool up to 186,000 RPM. The AMG GT also incorporates the use of a dry sump lubrication system, which eliminates the need for an oil pan. This results in being able to drop the engine 2 inches closer to the ground and behind the front axle. Therefore, this is a mid-front engine configuration. The AMG GT S is able to achieve a 0 to 60 time in just 3.7 seconds, and this is done by the use of a dual clutch transmission, which is connected to the motor via a carbon fiber drive shaft. Now, you can get shift times of less than 100 milliseconds with this car. Now, the way a dual clutch transmission works is it has 2 shafts. One shaft has the even gears and the other shaft has the odd gears. So when you're in one gear, the other shaft already has the next gear you want pre-selected for you for that quick shift time. Now, let's take a quick look at the interior of this luxury Grand Touring supercar. Now, this is one of the nicest interiors I've seen on a Grand Touring supercar of this segment. Let's go over some of the details and see what makes the interior of this car so amazing. So let's start at the top of the dash. The top of the dash is covered in black Napa leather with red contrast stitching. You have an 8.4-inch display screen for your infotainment system, 4 jet-inspired air conditioning vents. Down here you have your dual zone climate control, and then you have 2 large cup holders in the center here. Let's talk about the buttons on the center console here. This button covers your different mode settings for the car. You have individual, comfort, sport, sport plus, and race, and we'll cover that in just a little bit more detail. This is the controls to start the car and stop it. This is your electronic stability program, your suspension controls. This button down here controls the electronic valves in the exhaust system. This is your eco start stop mode. This button allows you to drive the car manually via the use of 2 thick aluminum paddles behind the steering wheel, and this controls your volume and infotainment system. In the center here, you have a trackpad that allows you to write your navigation destination for the infotainment system, and just your basic infotainment controls here, a wheel, return button, and then here is your electronic shifter for your drive, neutral, reverse, and park. What's really cool about the center console, this is really creative. There are 4 buttons on either side, symbolic of the car's V8, and the center console in general is shaped like a NACA duct. I think that's pretty cool. Let's come a little bit further back to the center console here. You have storage, 2 USB ports, an SD card slot, and you can also put your key in here if you're not using the push button ignition. Closing this, you'll see it's finished in a nice Afaltback logo embossed in the black leather. The steering wheel is 3-spoke multifunction. It has Dynamica all around, which is Mercedes-Benz version of Alcantara. It has red stitching going across and a black strip of leather on the top. It's race inspired with the flat bottom and the AMG logo on the bottom as well. And in the center you get your traditional Mercedes-Benz symbol. On the left you have controls for your voice command, and on the right you have controls for your stereo system and telephone. Behind the steering wheel you have 2 paddles. The left paddle's to shift down and the right paddle's to shift up, just in case you're driving in manual mode. As you can see, the seats of the AMG GT are race inspired. They have nice Dynamica inserts with red leather trim and red stitching. They're soft black Napa leather, really luxurious, and I really like this chrome trim here. It sets the car off. Let's talk a little bit about the door panel. The door panel is covered in soft black Napa leather. You have an aluminum door handle, your unlock and lock buttons, Burmester speaker system. You have a large Dynamica insert here with contrast red stitching. Black leather here with contrast red stitching as well, and controls for your power windows and power side view mirrors. Okay, so let's start it up and hear how the AMG GT S sounds. Well, that was a quick overview of the Mercedes-Benz AMG GT S Coupe. If you're interested in this car or any other Mercedes-Benz, be sure to contact Jessie Cannon-Wallace at Atlanta Classic Cars. I'll leave her contact information in the description box below. Also, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I got more content coming up soon. Thanks. Now for this special edition, I really love what they did with the seats. If you look closely, you'll see the headrests are carbon fiber leather with red piping, and it has the SL embroidery, Mille Miglia 417. Coming further down, you have red seat belts, again perforated leather, red accents going all throughout the seat, and red piping going from the top to the bottom as well.